So apparently, if you become one with the outer gods or you just become a foreigner, they take your manhood away because some of you may not know, but Jacques de Molay was actually one of the main antagonists in the FGO arcade version of Camelot, and he's like one of the final bosses in that version of the game, because if you didn't know as well, they kind of are splitting the FGO timelines a little bit depending on if you're playing the mobile game or the arcade game. But so they were like, you know what? People keep griping, they keep complaining that we don't have the arcade game characters in the FGO mobile game. So let's bring them over, which I always thought was something logical for them to do, because I'm like, you guys want to make money, right? Like, bring over Santa Suzuka Gozen. Like, people would summon, like, actual crazy for that servant, and people really liked Jacques de Molay when he came out, but then they turned him into a lady. Where is the manhood? Hunt down the manhood. Give my boy his penis back, okay? I don't know what DW's doing, but this is a serious matter, okay? They're taking the manhood from all of our characters, alright? So, I can't take this seriously, but yeah, look, they turned that dude into a female, turned him into a foreigner. He's now an AoE quick servant, and is actually pretty decent. I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to say, because we just got like this list of very broken servants. Like, we got Morgan, we got Melusine, we got Tamamovich, and then we get Jacques. Which, by the way, if there's any French people watching that are getting offended by the way I'm pronouncing it, you're just gonna have to deal with it, brother. But in comparison to those, it just seems like she doesn't really hold up that well in comparison. She's definitely good, as we'll go over in this video, but she's not that good. Like, if those servants were S tier, she would be like an A tier servant. So it just kind of seems a little odd. But if you enjoy FGO content, I put these videos out every single day, and even when JP releases stuff at the crack of dawn, your boy is waking up with the sun to make sure he gets that new information for Fate Grand Order for you guys. So give your brother a like, give him a subscribe. We're on that road to 100K, and you know, every little bit of support is very helpful. You can also click that join button down below if you want to become a channel member. But with that being said, let's get into the juicy bits. Let's go ahead and talk about what Jacques does, starting off with her hit. Now, as a quick servant, she is rocking a 2 quick 1 arts 2 buster deck with a 5 hit extra attack, which you know that I already love. She also has a star gen value of 14.7%. meaning those quick cards are actually going to be pretty decent, and her NP gain values are actually rather high at 0.78%. Then she's rocking 3 hits on the arts card and 5 on both quick cards respectively, meaning that you should be able to drop a decent bit of stars with this servant, as you would expect to, because she is a quick servant. And as long as you're able to get a crit on the arts card, you're pretty much going to be able to refund the majority of your NP back. Keep in mind that because her NP gain value is so high as well, and she has so many hits on said quick cards, if you're critting on the quick cards, which I mean you should be, because again she's a quick servant and is going to be dropping stars all over the place, you should also be able to get a decent bit of NP refund back as well from said quick card. So she's built pretty strong. Again, they also give her that 5 hit extra attack, which if you don't know the deal, if you're not down with the memes, the extra attack is a composite card that gens stars, gens NP, and does big boy damage. And when you have 5 or more hits on your extra attack, it just makes your Brave Chains hit that much more different. And the extra attack thrives with high base stats. And what I mean by base stats is high base star gen and base NP stats, because the extra attack unfortunately cannot crit. So it is very, very reliant on you just having very high natural stats, which thankfully she does have pretty good natural stats at 0.78% NP gain. So the extra attack on this servant should be, as the kids say, hitting different. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the first skill, which is essentially going to be her charisma. It's giving the entire party a 20% attack buff that lasts for 3 turns, then giving the entire party a 30% crit damage buff for 3 turns. It's charging the entire party's NP gauge by 20%, and then applying the evil trait onto everybody in the party except herself, and this is all on a 6-turn cooldown. So not the standard charisma, because the standard charisma is like a 20% attack buff for the entire party for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown, and it usually comes with some bonus effects. This is like a super charisma, if you want to look at it that way, because you're getting attack, crit damage, NP gauge, and then she's slapping the evil trait on the entire party, which is going to be useful when combined with her second skill. But overall, this is a very powerful skill because it's not going to be the primary main buff to just take down a boss. Like, you're not just going to use this skill, but this skill is a very strong building block for other servants. And if you want to use her as like a secondary DPS, or you have somebody else to kind of come along and give her more buffs, it'll make her very, very strong. So this is basically the strong foundational skill for the entire party, right? That's the thing that I think is really killer, is that she can give this to everybody, right? But then we move on to her second skill, and basically she has Merlin's invincibility skill, where she has the AoE nope skill. The only thing you need to have is the evil trait on the other party members. But thankfully, she slaps the evil trait on the other party members with her first skill. So basically, as long as you use skill 1 first, then you use skill 2 second, then you basically have an AoE nope skill, which I think makes her insanely valuable when it comes to challenge quests, especially if you're going to use her as like a secondary DPS, or she's the primary DPS and you have a secondary DPS that's kind of working with her. And then maybe you have like Scotty in your third slot or something. It just makes her very good for that. And especially when you consider that Scotty doesn't really provide a lot of hardline defense. The best thing Scotty's got for you is that she has 1 hit of evasion on her NP. So this is almost making up for the weakness of Scotty's defensive skills, or lack thereof defensive skills. It's just the fact that she's providing the entire party with an invincibility buff to keep them alive, and she's also packing another battery. So in total, with the first and second skill, she has a 50% battery, which means she's compatible with a lot of different CEs. As I've said before, a lot of events bring a starting charge CE somewhere, whether it's the gold gacha CE or it's one of the free-to-play CEs. One of the event CEs is going to have a 50% battery on it, and it means she's going to be very compatible with said CEs and is going to be very good for farming setups, which is important because farming is like 90% of the game. So you may not like it, but it's very good when you have servants that are very compatible and easy to use in farming setups, because that's the majority of what you're going to be doing in the game. And then for challenge quests, I think it's just generally good that they split both of the batteries up, because you have those bosses that will drain your NP gauge, whether it's on break bar, maybe they do it every turn. It's just very good to have it split up, so that way you don't potentially waste it on anything. Like, you can pop the first skill to give all of the buffs to the entire party, but maybe they suck away 30% NP gauge. You're like, oh man, I lost that, but I still got another 30% in my back pocket with the second skill. So it's just generally nice. But finally, let's move on to the third skill, which is giving her 10-star refund every single turn. Then she's giving herself a 20% quick buff for 3 turns, and then a special damage mod against enemies that have curse on them for 3 turns as well. And this is all on a 5-turn cooldown. Now, immediately when I read this skill, I was like, you know who's going to be really good with Jacques? I think Van Gogh is going to be very good, but then again, Van Gogh really doesn't specialize in putting curse on the enemy. She more specializes in putting curse on your party and then removing them for certain buffs. So I was like, maybe not. Obviously, as you can guess, Jacques' overcharge is going to be putting curse stacks on the opponent. So, you know, that's kind of an obvious thing. She provides it for herself, which is obviously very good. But I was just trying to think of people to pair with her. And then it kind of dawned on me that Doman actually might be a very good partner for Jacques, because Doman is going to be giving her a lot of different buffs, like insane attack, insane battery, crit damage, all that stuff, just off the merit that she's evil, and then is also giving the entire party the evil alignment. Unfortunately, she's neutral evil and not chaotic evil, but man, if she was chaotic evil, that would have just been like the absolute best pairing. Like, you'd just be going ham taro with those two. But again, with her being evil and having the ability to turn the entire party evil, you can actually set up some meme setups. Like, let's say you have a chaotic good character or chaotic neutral and someone like Gilgamesh, and you build the party with, and I don't know why you'd be building a party like this, but you have like Doman, Jacques, and then Gilgamesh. Jacques turns Gilgamesh evil, then he's now chaotic evil. Doman dumps all the buffs onto Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh just becomes a fiend. Then Jacques gives all of her buffs to Gilgamesh with skill 1, becomes a super fiend. Then she starts genning stars every turn with just her naturally high star regen, and her third skill providing stars every single turn. It just seems like you can do some very disgusting combos already, and I'm very excited to see what people are planning on doing with her going forward in the future. The only complaint I really have is that, like, 20% quick buff, not a whole lot. That's kind of minuscule, and I guess we'll just kind of move into the NP, but there is no hidden quick buff here. It is a 5-hit AoE NP, and again, it does have 0.78% NP gen on it, meaning you should be able to loop with this servant if you so choose to use her in that way. She's also getting 20 to 40% NP damage depending on overcharge level. So that's also very good. That's going to be buffing up her damage a lot. And then, because she has the curse overcharge damage on her third skill, of course, she's slapping on curse to all enemies and then also giving the super curse to them as well. So that way you're doing just a little bit of extra curse damage if that's your forte. So overall, I think she's a very solid servant. I don't think she's necessarily broken. Again, if I was doing a tier list, just my initial thoughts is that characters like Morgan and Tomamovich, Melusine, like a lot of them would be in the S tier, whereas she would probably be in very high A tier. My opinion might change the more I use her, but this is just my initial thoughts after seeing her, kind of reading the skills, thinking about some combos you could do with her. I definitely think if you have Scotty and you have like the team comps to kind of make her work, especially if you have people like Doman and Van Gogh, this can be a very fun servant to run. It almost feels like the final piece to that Van Gogh Doman setup, where then you kind of just splash in Jacques over here and you kind of make it a complete team. I think that could actually make it really fun, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, what do you guys think of Jacques? And then what do you guys also think about them bringing FGO Arcade characters over? Leave all that down in the comments down below. But with that being said, we got a lot of news to cover over the next following few days because they dropped like 400 billion servants over here on the JP version of the game, so get hyped. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace late, guys.